Hey guys, welcome to,
Can you hear me? Check.
can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? We're just checking to make sure people can hear me. They'll let me know if our audio is working. But while we're waiting on that to happen, if you can hear me, welcome. My name is William Whatley. I am the Artistic Director for Prorituals. Today we've got a really awesome hour program. What I want to do is I want to go over some dry cutting techniques, and I want to go through our styling and our finishing line, showing you guys some different ways to cocktail things so that when you're in the salon, you can transition into some dry cutting. A lot of times when we do dry cutting, it's always at the end of a haircut. So I kind of want to go through a few must-haves that you need for dry cutting. First of all, you're going to have the right tools. So for me, I do probably 50% of my clients are dry cuts, and 100% of my clients are wet to dry. So with that being said, I just want to point out for dry cutting, what I really like to do is you need a great pair of shears. Now, when I dry cut, I always want to use a 6 or 7 inch shear. These shears are the Jaguar's C4Js, and I like them because they're very, very sharp. I can use these over and over again. It gives me a straight line. So these are the silver line. So a 6 or 7 inch shear is really something that you need when you're going to be doing some dry cutting, and I'll get into that when I show you. The next thing is you need to have a great texturizing shear, and this is the Tandeo. And I chose this one because it has 15 teeth and they're serrated, but this blade is very sharp. So when I go through to do some refining and texturizing and debulking and removing some of the hair, I want this to slide through the hair like butter because it's on dry hair. So that is the second tool that you need. And the third tool, this is a 40 teeth refining thinner. And I'll go in and show you how to use this also for dry cutting. But the tools that you need are a long shear, a great texturizer like the Tandeo, and then a really, really good, I prefer the 40 teeth Jaguar refining thinner. And I'll go in and I'll show you because Nikki's got blonde hair. And a lot of my clients have blonde hair because we do so many bleaches and tones. But I want to show you how to work with the refining thinner because it's not your average thinning shear. And then I'm going to go in and show you, I want to show you how to use a razor on dry hair to create a completely different texture. So with that being said, I have got all of our finishing products here. I've got our volumizing and texturing foam, our sea salt texturing foam, our glow shine, our dream oil, our dream cream, our smoothing balm, and our dream oil, and our spray treat. And then if you guys haven't seen this yet, this is our brand new putty to clay pomade. It's not a wax. It dries matte, or if you add dream cream to it, it'll give you a little bit of a gloss. But let's step in right into the dry cutting, because there's a few techniques that sometimes these are the aha moments, and sometimes you guys already know these. So I'm gonna be COVID compliant. So when you're doing dry cutting, guys, bigger combs are better because you need to have control. When you're using those little smaller combs and those smaller scissors or shears, you're not going to be able to get as much control. So I just want to show you a couple of techniques because when you're dry cutting, we are working with the natural fall of the hair. So with Nikki, because she's got such fine hair, I'm going to spin her around here a little bit. She's got such fine hair. So I know that less is more. So I'm not going to have to go in and do a lot of debulking. I'm going to have to go in and do more refining, a little bit of soft texturizing. But I want to get this to where when she just gets up in the morning, she can take a blow dryer, she can hit it, she can put a little product in it, and it's ready to go because it's cut to the natural fall. So even though the hair is dry, I like to add just a little tiny bit of, let me go back here, because I'm going to cut this to her natural fall. So Nikki has, this is her natural fall. I am not going to fight that. Normally we'd take the center section, we'd do a cut that would fall either way. I'm cutting this to the way that her hair falls. So that is her natural fall on the top of her head. So I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of spray treat. This is a great product, not only for porosity control. You can also use it in your colors to tap down with the alkali to lower ammonia with your color surfaces. But I like to take the spray treat just a tiny bit because I need to see that all the flyaways are gone. So I'm just going to take just a little bit of my spray treat and just a little bit. So it's not wet, so it's still dry. Spray treat is a great styling product, especially if you're going to dry cut. So there is the technique that I use is called zone cutting. So what you have to do is you have to decide what lives in the front 20% of the head and what lives in the back 80% of the head. And the ears is what decides that. So what I want you to do when you're cutting dry is I'm going to take this, and if you can see, I'm going to have her just lean a little bit forward so we can see a good picture of her. Can you get better on the camera there? So I want to use, and you're going to notice, especially if she's got her natural fall, doesn't fall in the center, we're going to have less hair on this side, more hair on this side. That's just the way that it is. So for me to find what lives in the front 20% and what lives in the back 80%, the easiest way to do this, guys, is take your comb, your bigger comb, and you're just going to take and you're going to go right down the side of her head. And then when you get to her ear, you're going to let that hair tell you that's always going to live in the front 20% of her face. So what lives, when you do that, when that separates, that hair is always going to fall in front of her ear. This is always going to fall behind her ear. So that's your front 20%. This is your back 80%. So now I want to show you something when you're doing with dry cutting. Once we get through this really, because the cuts are really fast, it's getting the structure, getting your foundation ready for your dry cutting so that you can move through the cut really quickly. So because she has more hair on this side, And again, you can see how the spray treat just took all my little flyaways down. A little bit goes a long ways. So again, I'm going to take and I'm going to follow this all the way down until I find her ear. And her ear, again, is going to tell me where this lives. Now, she's got a mask on, so this is a natural fall to the mask. So that is your front 20%. I need to come in here and come this side. So what I want to show you is that when I'm going to have her drop her head, I'm going to take the back. I need to see what I'm doing here, guys. I want you to drop your head for me, Nikki. So when you see this back 80%, you're going to see that it's not a straight line. So normally we want to make a straight horizontal or a line from ear to ear when we're doing a wet cut. On dry cutting to natural fall, you don't want to do that. We're wanting it to fall naturally. So that is her front 20%. This is her back 80%. So now that we've got, now that we know what's going to live where, if you're ever going to mess up in your back 80%, because you don't have a second shot on the front 20%, unless COVID lasts forever and you wear a mask all the time. So I'm going to show you a technique with the tondeos that is very, very simple and it's great for dry cutting. So what we're going to do with Nikki today is we're going to go shorter, but I don't want an A-line. I want it to collapse a little bit. I want them to be a little bit of some pieces. I want it to be a little bit abstract. So I'm going to take my tondeo texturizers and decide where I want my line to live back here. Now again, step out of the way here. I want to look and just kind of see. I'm going to drop her head for me. I want to look at her hairline. And I want to see how this hairline lives. This hairline is actually falling up and forward. We always have one side that lays perfectly down, just like this one, and then one that pops up and then goes down. I'm going to show you how to work with that. So, with the let me grab that. All right, so we're going to take my tondeos, guys. This technique of cutting is I do zone cutting. So in the salon, this is exactly how I cut, especially on dry cutting, because I want to see how it's going to fall. So when you're using your texturizing shears on dry hair, what I really would love for you to try, and this is a great technique, and I'm going to show you another technique for razor cutting. Take your texturizing shears, and if you've got our glow shine, I want you to take your glow shine, and remember, glow shine is designed to create shine on the hair. So I don't want you to saturate your shear because I don't want it to put too much product on our hair, but I definitely want to go through the hair like butter. So I'm going to take my glow shine and just mist my tondeos with a little bit of product, because it's got those essential oils. It's not going to damage your shear, but it's going to allow me to get through her hair very quickly. So we're going to take the back 80%, and I'm going to try to get in here so that you guys can see all this. And if Danny can can get this in here. So I'm going to take everything into the palm of my hand. And I just want to explain that things for me work in zones. So for me, right below the occipital bone, right below the occipital bone, this is zone 1. Zone 1 determines length of hair. That's all it does. Then when you come from the round of the head to the flat of the head, then you're going to go into zone 2. Zone 2 is going to follow all the way around except for zone 3 on the top of the head. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing 3 sections in one, because I know what this is going to do, and on dry cutting, it just makes the hair fall beautifully. So I'm going to take this whole section. The key to this is you got to find where her occipital bone is. So her occipital bone is right here. For this cut to really pop and to live, you've got to cut it below the occipital bone. If you cut it above the occipital bone, this is going to create volume. If you cut it below the occipital bone, it's going to create collapse. Okay, so cross your fingers. I thought about this haircut last night in a dream, Nikki. No, Nikki has had every haircut you can imagine. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it out, not at a 45, but pretty close. Find where my occipital bone is. So now I'm just going to take my Tundeos. I've added just a little bit of the glow shine to my shear. And I'm literally going to take this. Guys, you're going to want to do this. Don't do this because you're not going to have any control. So with dry cutting, with zone cutting, the way that I'm going to be teaching it throughout the season and the way that we're putting our curriculum together, is you want to take and make sure that you have complete control, head down, make sure you're below the occipital, and then I'm just going to take my Tundeos. I'm going to see if I can get you turned here so everybody can see. And then I'm just going to just start biting into the hair. Now, I've bit in a couple of times. So I'm going to take and bite in one more time for my perimeter. Now I'm going to, if you can get a little closer here, I'm going to just go in and bite up just a little bit higher in to the texture. Does that make sense? So we got that. So then I'm going to come back down and keep cutting until I get my perimeter gone. So that is this whole section of hair. So you don't have to do a 40, a 0, a 45, a 90, a 0, a 45, a 90. So by laying this down, I literally now have used both of her sides and her natural fall line as part of my haircut. And then I'll go back through it and I'll show you how to refine these down with your Jaguar 40 teeth thinners. And they're more of a refining thinner than they are just a regular thinner. So this is my first cut. So it gives me a great little movement. I've got some nice pieces here. So once
It feels amazing.
it feels amazing already.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna spin you around just a little bit. So now we've got, I'm gonna have Nikki just take her mask off, and I'm gonna have you just hold it, Nikki, on your face so that I can get to this. This is another thing that I've been doing in the salon, is just having them take the mask off of around the ear and just holding the mask on their face. so that I can see how my back 80 is now going to live with my front 20. And if you've ever done a haircut where you've done 0, 45, 90 and tried to get this, and you wind up with this section here being shorter, with this technique, that's never going to happen. You're going to have this fall right in because that's your guide for the rest of the haircut. Okay, so that is my left side, and I'm going to take and drop this. And remember, guys, this is going to be our thicker side. Don't forget that that's our thicker side. So I want to keep, see these little pieces here? These are going to accent her haircut. I really want this to just pop and move. So, now that I've got my perimeter cut, because I'm going to save my front 20 is my money shot. I mean, that's where you want to get in there and really accessorize and work with the hair. So I'm going to drop my Tendeos, and now I'm going to pick up my 7-inch Jaguar C4. Let me make sure I get these right. The CJ4 Plus. These are the this is in Silverline. These are one of my favorite shears. I'm going to use her natural fall on the top to determine how much volume I get in the back. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take just a pie section in the back, just right where the round of the head goes to the flat of the head. This whole section is going to come up. That's why a big comb really, really helps. And this is where the 7-inch shear comes in. I'm going in and just biting in. And I want this to be a little choppy, just in the crown. Just in this crown, I want this to fall over the softness that I did with the Tendeos so that it looks a little bit choppy. Let me take this a little bit more here. Spread that out just a little bit. Bite in. So now I got a nice little bit of volume that falls over the collapsed part. And then I'm just going to just take my back 80 and just find my point and come. I'm going to leave my point. So guys, when you're doing this kind of a cut, the point is what's falling here. Please don't cut the point off, especially when you're working in the back 80%. Take this section. I am going to just lightly come in on either side of my point so I get some movement from behind, pushing forward. Okay, so I'm just doing this just so it's right over the top of the ear so that I get a little bit more push, and you can start to see how that really starts to move the hair. Same thing on this side. Just gonna grab my section of hair. I gotta get her around here. So you guys can see. Put her down so I can get in here. There's my point. Don't take that off and just come in and your shorter pieces behind the ear in the back 80%. So it pushes this hair forward. Don't take your point off. We want to come in and take this off. Please don't do that. Let that drop so that it pushes that forward. So because she's got fine hair, everybody always will tell you, please don't razor hair on dry hair. But we have a technique at Prorituals where if you'll take the dream oil and just put a little drop on the back of your hand, just like so, and then whatever razor you're doing, I want you to just take your razor and lay it into the oil, lay it into the dream oil. It doesn't need to have a lot, but guys, this is the difference between razoring the hair, tearing the hair, and ripping the hair. We want to shear the hair on dry cutting. So I want to create some texture without going in here and biting and chunking this out because she's got fine hair. So again, I'm going to use her natural part. I'm going to take a section on both sides, just like so. And because I have put the dream oil on my razor, make sure you get your finger on your razor. I'm just going to just take some pieces off. Okay. There's such little amount of oil, of the dream oil on this. What it's going to do is it's going to make the hair shear off instead of tear off. There's nothing worse than razoring somebody, whether it's wet or dry. When I'm doing a dry cut or a wet cut, I still use my dream oil on my razor because I want to shear that off, to slice that off instead of tear it off. I'm just going to just take just a little bit more texture here, lean it to me, and then just bite it up. So that we get just a little bit of movement on the top. So this is without going in and layering it. Guys, I don't want you to go in and make this perfect layers. It's got to fall the way that her hair grows. Because I want Nikki to be able to style this either with a curling iron, a flat iron, a crimping iron, or to wear it straight. So, now that I've got my texturized, my volume through the top, I've got my length that I want on the back. So now I'm going to take my really fine Jaguar, and again, these are the CJ4 plus off the 40 teeth thinners. So I want you to just take, and you're just going to lift this up. I don't want you to take it all off. I want you to just kind of go in, and you're just going to kind of just lightly follow it up. So that when this lays, so now this starts to lay down. See how that starts to soften and lay that down? Just come in there with your 40 teeth, Jaguars, and it starts to lay that down. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm doing the back first because the front part is really easy. And again, this side lays down perfect. So I'm just literally just going to go in and just lightly remove some of the hair that's on her neck that's popping that up. So that lays down nice and soft. Very nice. Very, very nice. Take and clean up her neck just a little bit with my razor. So again, using your Dream Oil and your Glow Shine. You're using them as a cutting aid, but they're also styling aid. But I can't do a haircut without them. So I want to show you one more technique with using the razor. Just to blend, because we did that nice choppy piece with our 7-inch Jaguars. So you see how that choppiness, see how that nice choppiness is there? Let's just take our razor and do a little blend right from the end. We're going to go right into the scalp and just slightly blend this right to the bottom part. So we're blending above the occipital now with the choppy pieces, and now we're blending it into what's going to collapse on the neckline. Perfect. All right. So when we get to the front 20%, this is where you really need to pay attention, because this is where I want the hair this side is automatically shorter because she has less hair on there. If you look to this side, you're going to see that this side is automatically longer. We're going to keep it that way. So what I want to do is, Nikki has these little bitty baby hairs here. So I want to keep this baby hair into this so we get some kick to it. But then we're just going to take one piece of a section in the front, right by her eye. I'm going to take all of that over into one section. And then I'm going to take my 7-inch Jaguars, and wherever the longest, wispiest piece of the right side is, it's going to determine the length, which is about just right below her eye. That's where I am going to take and just add a little bit of movement so that this stays there. Now that falls there. So that gives you a nice movement without having to chop off all of her bangs. So I'm going to have you switch hands now. All right. So we've pretty much got the look that we want as far as the perimeter and the interior, but I want to add a lot more texture and some movement because I want to go through and show you how to work with the product. So it's going to get a little noisy. So there's another technique that you can do with the tornadoes. Guys, this is a technique that you can use in the salon that's going to get you a lot of recognition, and also it's how you get those looks that are in those Pinterest pictures, and how the texture moves with the way that her hair moves. So it's going to be a little loud because I have to use the dryer. So I don't know if you guys have the Petco blow dryer. But
There's one question. Please explain your razor technique in the top of the head. Real quick.
Please explain the razor technique on the top of the head. The reason why I did the razor technique on top of the head is because I did not want it to be blunt. And I did not want to have deep cuts because every time you do a cut with a scissor, it becomes blunt. There's nothing you can do about it. Even when you slide cut something, it's still a hard edge. So by taking just that section on the natural fall part, taking that whole section up and cutting that and taking that section up, and I'm not going to take a lot off because I got it exactly where I want. The razor is going to give me texture without giving me bluntness and without texturizing it. So make sure that your hair is all on one side. So I'm going to take this. So I'm literally just hitting the hair with my Dream Oil so that I'm just taking little pieces of hair out so that it creates volume and texture without bluntness. Because I want this hair to be really loose and movable. Did that answer your question? You can do this in different parts of the head. If she had a center part, I might take my whole zone 3, which is the top of the head, and take all of that so that I create texture at the bottom. Because this texture is all the way through the top of the head. I use my scissors for the top center of the head for the back to create the choppiness. I wanted it choppy back here. Then I blended it with the razor. Now I want the razor on the top because this is surface cutting. Does this make sense? I am doing a whole haircut, but all the movement lives on the surface, doesn't live underneath. I'm not doing anything underneath to push it back and forth, except when I went behind the ear in that back 80%, just to give a little bit of push in those shorter pieces right behind the ear to push it forward.
Is it a guarded razor?
It is definitely a guarded razor. Otherwise, I would look like this. So I love my fingers, all of them. So a guarded razor is definitely recommended. This is just my technique. There's several techniques. I mean, if you wanted to pick it up and use another kind of a razor and razor it up, I just like this because it gives me a natural flow, and it's just a technique that I've developed over the years. I mean, back in the day, I used to do a technique back. You guys have been doing hair a long time, so you know. I mean, I look. I have a painting of myself somewhere, and it's 180 years old. And by the way, did you guys notice I colored my hair today? I colored my hair and my beard because Danny said that I was starting to look like his dad instead of his husband. So anyway, let me give you back my I totally lost my train of thought, people. Yeah, so if I wanted, if she had a center part, I could have taken this whole section and taken this and given myself a lot of texture. But if you notice, I'm not removing that point. Those points are the links on the side. So now I've got my fringe cut. I got my movement cut. I've got my fringe cut. I've got my back movement the way that I want it. So now what I want to do is I want to show you guys something that this takes a little practice. You might want to do it on maybe, another hairdresser that has always asked you to do their hair. You know, hairdressers are so funny. Well, I mean, all day long I'd be like, hey, will you cut my hair? Will you cut my hair? Will you cut my hair? And then I've done this with Nikki because Nikki is a great hairdresser also. She's on our artistic team. But I have somebody else cut my hair because she doesn't have time. And then as soon as they leave, I go, Nikki, can you fix what this dude? That's how hairdressers are. We just are that way. But I love hairdressers. I can't imagine doing anything else. I'd have been fired from every job. So, because there's been a few clients that's fired me and I've fired them. So, with your Tendeo, and guys, you can get this at Robanda also. This is a great shear. I use this almost on every haircut. But I use it differently because back in the day, you saw me on stage doing this. You saw every platform artist, they were just going crazy and just texturizing and hair was going crazy. And then the poor person in the back room had to correct it. So as time goes on, you really kind of figure out how hair is supposed to fall. And you can see how this is really starting to move. But I can see my weight. You can start to see the weight happening, moving from my 80 into my 20. So my 80% into my 20. So I'm going to take my Tendeos. I'm going to take my Pro Tools dryer. I love this dryer because it's got a lot of force. You want this on cold. Don't put it on hot because it'll burn your ear. So I'm going to take this dryer and I'm going to use the dryer so that I can see how the hair is going to fall and move. So when you're using the dryer and the shears at the same time, you kind of have to get into a rhythm. So using the dryer to push the hair the way you want it to go. And again, I'm going to add just a little bit more glow shine to my Tendeos, just to make sure that I get that nice soft slip. And again, not a lot, just a little. Low heat, no heat, and low force. So I'm going to move this, and as I go, I'm going to start removing hair where I want that weight to go out. I'm telling you guys, if you use this technique in the salon, you will create so much excitement. The whole point of getting advanced education is to push yourself. I can go a lot faster, so I'm literally using the dryer
to move the weight around, or you're softly biting. I am only using the top 4 teeth of this here to remove this hair. She's got fine hair. I don't want it to be silky. I want it to be soft and juicy, just like this. And you can see how that's starting to soften up and lay in really, really nice. Please do not cut this off. Don't take your scissors and cut that off. I want to leave that in. So I'm going to come in from the top now, and we're going to pull straight down in a vertical section. This is her thicker side. Remember that. This is why I'm spending more time on this side than I will on the other side. In the salon, this haircut would take me about 30 minutes. And my client comes in with clean hair, they know they're gonna get a dry cut. Sometimes what happens is, like, Nikki comes in the first time and then I dry cut her, I shampoo her, start all over, she's a brand new client. By the time I'm done, then I tell her the next time she comes in that just come in with clean hair. I need to see how your hair dries naturally, because from haircut to haircut, it's gonna change. So that's how I acquired dry cutting clients. Guys, please do not charge less for dry cutting. Dry cutting is a specialty. I actually charge $25 more for a dry cut. Clients don't care because they hear from Nikki, oh my God, you should have seen, he was blow drying my hair. He was cutting it and blow drying at the same time. And I have never had a haircut like that before. These are the techniques that I want you to use, but you've got to have the right tools. You got to have the Tadeos. You got to have the 7-inch Jaguars. You've got to have the 40 teeth refining thinners by Jaguar. That gives you that extra edge. Now I'm going to move over to the other side. And guys, she's got less hair on this side. So I need to really look and see if I need to remove any weight or collapse anything. I honestly, because I did that center section, I've got my nice texture here that I didn't have over here. That's why I had to go in with the Tendeo texturizer. So all I need to do on this side is literally come in. I'm going to come in from this side over the top of her head, lean her in, and I'm going to come in from the back and just lightly, in her back 80 is where she needs some weight removed to blend into the front 20. Her front 20 doesn't need much taken off. Again, the first 3 or 4 teeth on this technique. Take your mask off to cover your mouth. I just need to see your face real fast. Awesome. Okay. So now all I'm going to do is I want to take my Tendeos. And again, we're gonna find where our natural fall is. This little piece is gonna stay there, but I need to open this up just a little bit. This piece needs to be opened up. Guys, the easiest way to open this up is to find that piece. And I'm literally going to just take my tandeos, and I'm going to find that and open up that piece, still keeping all the length, so that this opens up. Again, I'm doing surface. I'm not going underneath. This is all surface cutting, so that this now really blends with that. Same thing with this side. Look at this. This is freaking fabulous. I love this. But now I literally can take this whole piece, and what I'm going to do is just take in bite, 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 bite. I'm leaving the center piece alone, and I'm biting off both pieces from one side to the next, so that I leave this little piece completely alone. Fabulous. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Make sure that's a nice movement. So now, except for some refining, I'm going to move over to my other tools that I need. I need hand tools. And when I say hand tools, I need my mousse, I need my dream cream, I need my pomade, I need my dream oil. So what I want to do is I want to create some movement to her hair. I want to create some texture, but I don't want it to be heavy. So you can take your pomade. Now, I want you guys to look at this really close. So the Putty to Clay pomade, the new Putty to Clay pomade, this can be used several different ways. So when you push this down, I mean, it's really, really creamy. And it gives you enough time to get it in your hand, get it emulsified, and get it on the head without it going to matte. But if you want to create something a little bit more of a glossier finish, I like to take my pomade, and I'll take just a little bit. And a lot of times I'll have my client put this in their hand so that they can feel the texture of it. So this is the pomade. So I'm going to take and put this in the palm of my hand. That a little bit goes a long way, guys. So I'm going to cocktail my Putty to Clay pomade with spray treat. Instead of using water, I want you to take your spray treat, add it to your pomade, and then emulsify it. because it'll break it down quicker than water, and it helps with the porosity. People think that I am the most gentlest hairdresser in the whole wide world, but I'm really not. So when I do this, I always tell my clients, please do not put this in the front of your head first. You want to start in the back and move forward. So once I get this product on my hands, a little bit of, grab my spray treat. So again, I'm cocktailing 2 products. And spray treat, we always think of spray treat as a porosity filler, or we use it in our colors. But I love to cocktail it with my products because it really softens this up. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to just go into Nikki's hair, and I'm going to start from the back and I'm going to move forward. Start from the back and move forward. Just so I create some texture in the hair. It's going to look like a crazy mess, and that's okay. Because once you have gotten that texture in the hair, I don't want you guys to freak out, because you have the next best thing of creating a nice soft texture. If you just take the Glow Shine over what you've just done. And again, guys, let's spray it with Glow Shine. Do me a favor. Please do not spray it this close to the head, because you know it'll happen. So make sure that when you're using Glow Shine, that you're, 6 to 8 to 12 inches away from the hair, so that it just lightly falls onto the hair, so that you get a nice shine. But then now I can go back in with the pomade that I use that's got a lot of hold, and it dries into a matte finish. But by working it with the Glow Shine, I now can go in, soften this up, piece it out.
Did you straighten the hair before the haircut, or was it just
No, I did
naturally?
not straighten her hair. This is how her hair naturally is. I promise you, I did not straighten her hair. I wanted Nikki to come in straight from the shower and just drive here naturally. And I said, don't stick your head out the window in the car. So now I have some nice little pieces that I really, really like. So I'm gonna have you just drop your mask just for a second so they can see that. So this is the look that I really, really like. So there's a couple of things a couple of other things that I want to show you. If you take the Dream Cream and you mix that with the pomade, that will give you a really, really unmatted finish. So you won't have any drag in the application. So you can mix your Dream Cream with your pomade, then you, especially on shorter looks, so it gives you a little bit more time to get those finished pieces in. And then of course the mousse. I always love to mix the mousse with the Dream Cream or the smoothing balm, because sometimes the smoothing balm is too smooth, so I want to get that sea salt in there. And the great thing about all of the retail products, even though they're a styling and a finishing line, they all have the B panthenol vitamins through them. So you get volume, you get texture, you get movement, but it also is healthy for the hair. That's what Prorituals is all about. We want to have style, we want to have fashion, but we want the hair to be healthy and shiny. So a lot of people ask me about, do we have anything that has a thermal protectant to it? So what I want to tell you is we're working on a thermal protectant as an individual tool. But we have a new gel coming out that I'm going to give you guys a little bit of hint about. And it's called Power Sculpt. I'm gonna have to look at Lori comes up with these amazing names for the products. But it does three things. When the gel hits the streets, it is has a consistency of a thicker gel, so a guy can put it on, comb his hair, let it dry. It's not gonna dry rock hard like a old-fashioned gel. But if you mix that gel with the texture volume and blow dry with it, you're going to get more volume than you've ever been able to get ever before with Prorituals. We needed something that would give you more volume without making the hair feel like a tumbleweed. So when the gel hits the streets, make sure that you get the gel. So that's the two things that it does. Now, if you mix it with Dream Cream, it is a curl reverter. So if you've got somebody with frizzy, curly hair, our one gel will give you all the volume you want. It's great for guys because it's got a thick consistency and it'll dry, it'll hold their hair in shape. It just won't be rock hard, but it's about a 6.5, 7 hold. But then when you put it with our Dream Cream, it will give you the most beautiful, it'll take the craziest Rosanna Dana hair and just give you those beautiful, nice little ringlets. You just want to just push it into the hair and mix those two together. So back to what I was going to talk to you about. So I'm going to just throw a couple of little things with the flat iron in because I want just a few little kicks going on with Nikki's hair. So I'm going to take my flat iron, turn it on. So if you take the Glow Shine, and again, a little bit goes a long way. And if you've been using our fabulous Proform hairspray, I love this hairspray. It smells great. Every time I use it, my clients go, I love the smell of that hairspray, and especially the Glow Shine. And I'm going to give you a little secret. I love the smell of our Glow Shine so much that it's going to have the gel is going to have that slight little fragrance in it. So I'm going to take a little bit of my hairspray, just a little bit, to make sure I get some, just a little bit, guys. Please don't saturate. Please do not saturate. You're using this as a thermal protectant. Now, am I going to tell you that this is going to protect the hair up to 450 degrees? No, but it will protect it up to about 300 degrees. For me, I really never use a flat iron hotter than 300 degrees. There's no need for it. So once I've got my hairspray on, I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of my Glow Shine. Then I'm going to take my flat iron and I'm just going to preheat that hair just a little bit, and then just give me just a little bit. That's just a little bit too much curl. There we go. And again, I'll take my hairspray, a little bit, because you're using it as a thermal protectant, you're not using it as hold, and a little tiny bit of Glow Shine. Boom, that's plenty. And then just literally, I always preheat when I use my curling with my flat iron. I always preheat the hair. It's because it's like fabric. So I preheat it and then I'll slightly close because I used way too much. So there. I want just a little bit of movement there. And then we're going to take this. And I'm going to preheat this bang back. Just a little bit. A little bit of my hairspray, a little bit of glow shine. Boom, plenty. And because I'm going out and in, I just want just a tiny bit of light in here. A little bit too much. Less is more, guys. A little bit of hairspray, a little bit of glow shine. Preheat. I don't know what happened to this bang, but I hate it. So let's fix it. There we go. All right. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of my dream cream. It's really a wonderful finisher. It's weightless, guys. It's weightless. So now I'm going to go in underneath. Everything else was surface. So now I'm going to go in underneath. You spin it around. I'm going to go in underneath and use my dream cream to create movement. And my choppiness that I got with my a little bit of hairspray. I just want to show you guys, there's so many things that you can do with the Prorituals finishing and styling line. Don't limit yourself. There's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things you can cocktail with. I hope that I showed you. Let me look at this. I'm going to give it a little bit more bang.
All right, don't move. I'm gonna just flip your collar up. I hope that I showed you some techniques today, guys, and we are putting together a whole cutting ritual that works off of zone cutting. And we'll go into more depth in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, front 20, back 80. That's all going to be coming. We're working on a curriculum now. Prorituals is not only going to be number 1 in your coloring systems, but we really want to be number 1 in your cutting systems and your styling and finishing products the way that we can cocktail. The fewer the SKUs that you have on your shelves that sell more, instead of having one that's dead weight, is my goal. I want something that will create as many different looks as possible so that you don't have to have so many different products for just to do one thing. So this is Nikki. I'm gonna let her just stay right here in the chair. But I'm gonna spin her around. I'm gonna show you the whole look. And this was all a dry cut. Nice, piecey, sexy. She'll be able to do this any way that she wants. And if she wants to, I just love that texture. If she wants to wear this straight, or if she wants to take and curl this out, it's just got a lot of character to it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today. If you have any questions, please feel free to go on to education@robanda.com. But I really want you guys to know about something that is really, really, really groundbreaking for Prorituals. Daniel Rivera has, actually Robanda, Prorituals, brought together Daniel Rivera, and we have a team of 12 working educators. So we all know that we go to our Prorituals professional page to put our formulas, our befores, and our afters. But now you're going to be able to go to a 1-800 number for a hotline. And it is 1-833-4-RITUALS. So it's all, Danny's going to be posting that on the Prorituals professional users. It's going to be coming out in all of our marketing. Your distributors should have it, but just remember, it is 1-833, the number 4, Rituals, and it is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday Central Time. So, stop emailing me, start calling those 1-800 numbers. We have working educators, our design team members and our artistic team members are all working on this. I want to thank you guys so much for having us today, and please, if you have any questions, go to prorituals.com. All of our tutorials, all of our webinars are going to be posted on prorituals.com, not on YouTube. So to see all of our stuff, please start going to prorituals.com, hit menu, and then go to about, and then it'll show you all of our new tutorials and our new rituals.
Is there a distributor in Iowa?
Is there a distributor in Iowa? We will find out if there is a distributor in Iowa. What are you trying to show them, Danny?
Someone wants to know the numbers again for the hotline and the phone number.
The number for the hotline is
You can't see that. You can't see that.
1833 for ritual.
It's 1833 for ritual. RITULS. UAL. Oh, ritual. All right, guys. It's been real. I love your guts. And the next one you guys are going to see is going to be the launch of Pro Pigments 2.0 is coming your way. And it's going to blow your socks off. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you had a good time. Hope you learned some techniques. And make sure that you try these techniques on either clients that you don't care if it ever comes back, or maybe your in-laws. You know, if you're scared, I'm just teasing. Thank you guys so much.